It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Flying down from Nova Scotia today.
This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds.
I have a dream.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another bonus segment of Captain and Samurai.
Got the name right first try.
Yes. So, Samurai, how you doing today, good buddy?
I am fantastic. Got up early, did a couple things, hop on you for a little bit, go make a little bit of train later, and ready to rock and roll for the day.
There we go, pal.
Yeah.
So we missed last week. We were both a little bit busy. Things got hectic, but it is what it is. It's a bonus segment, people. You get, bonus content.
Yeah.
So today we are going to talk a little bit about how Donald J. Trump didn't get arrested and the new Twitter files that Matt Taibbi dropped of COVID. Bum, bum, bum.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's see. So, I mean, did you and Steve or you and James go over Trump's potential arrest? Me and Skaggs just put out an episode Monday or Tuesday. I don't even know what day of the week it is anymore.
Yep. So me and Steve, we talked a little bit about Trump, but we were going on pretty much about how everything is like, what's next? Like every time there's something dropped about, bank records and this and showing more corruption, they throw something else at us. What's next? Next? So that's kind of what our episode was based on. Me and James, actually, yesterday, we had a really fun episode. We really didn't talk too much about anything like political or anything. We kind of just talked about the NCAA tournament that just happened this past weekend, how Jersey had a national champ out of Princeton, kids out of Randolph. We talked about that. Then we were talking about concealed carry. We were talking about different holsters, different things like that. So it was actually a really fun episode, and I got to make fun of James a lot, and it was good. So
you got a We the People holster?
I do not. I have I think it's Tactical 41. This guy, local law enforcement guy, makes them by us. So I did a even swap. I did a private lesson. Yep. I like it.
He's got me for my Beretta. It's a libertarian in the way. It's a full-size pistol, so in the waistband.
That's tough, dude. That's what we were talking about.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, because I have my inside the waistband, and I've been trying to wear it to get used to it. And I'm like, I don't know if I like this because it's an appendix carry.
Yeah,
like, I just don't know if I like it. I don't know if I want a 3 o'clock.
I like it. I'm left-handed, so I like it on behind the pocket loop on the back of my hip, but then you put it towards your back, and if somebody comes up behind you, they can pull it out from you. It's a nightmare.
It's all preference.
The appendix carry hurts so much. I don't know if I'm just a fat slob, but
that's what we were talking about. That's what we were talking about. And it was funny because we were talking about it on the episode, and then all of a sudden, like 5 minutes after we got off the episode, James sends me a whole 20-minute YouTube of a fat guy talking about appendix carry. And he's like, dude, this just popped up on my YouTube feed. I'm like, I told you they were listening to the show, So, but yeah, so we were talking about that. But I have a bunch of law enforcement and guys that train with me that they've been they carry all the time. So I've been really picking their brains, doing research, and my buddy set me up with another holster, so I'm going to try that one too. But it's good to have more than one, different situations, different things.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at, and I have a compact, so I bought that specifically for that thing. I got a Springfield Hellcat. Love it. It's a nice little gun. Did
you get the powder blue one?
No, I did not. Just my sweatshirt today. Tar Heel blue, mother lover. So we were talking about that. And because the other part is me and Steve talked a little bit about the Trump thing in the beginning of our episode. Was like I said, it's almost laughable at this point, and Steve's like, no, this is nefarious. So like we had that little debate, but
it definitely is nefarious.
It is. No, he was right. And I was like, define nefarious. And he was just like, I don't know the meaning. And I'm like, let's Google it. But we all know what Stephen was getting at, Yeah. So but yeah, I mean, at this point, with all the information out there, everything going on. I mean, just as of yesterday, basically the grand jury got pushed back again because,
Michael Cohen paid for
his lawyer. His lawyer that was defending him was like, he's a fucking liar. And wait, hold on. They only cherry picked these 6 documents. I handed over 600 documents. Like, you guys are not getting the full story. You're not getting the full information.
Shocking.
And I find it rather shocking that for the, especially the Southern District in New York, for that highly politicized, highly left-leaning, jury pool to be like, ugh,
yeah,
maybe we should wait on this. That's very showing of what the evidence. And what is this, like the 685th time they said they're going to arrest him. Right. And then like, they're literally trying to arrest him for something that happened before he was a president, that he didn't use his own money, didn't use campaign
potentially
contributions.
Past the statutes of limitations.
It's a past the statute of limitations, right? Then the money that was paid by Cohen. The Trump and his organizations never paid him back, never knew the payment was there. Cohen's lawyer is telling them this, like he did this all on his own.
Yep.
And they're trying to hammer him for this. Meanwhile, we have bank records of Biden. We have servers of Hillary. We have how many suicides by the Clintons. We got the Bushes and all their dirtiest, nefarious things they've been doing. The Obamas, they're the ones of not the, we had no scandals. We had no. It's easy to have no scandals when the mainstream media is literally just covering your back. The Twitter files are showing that literally they've been just attacking Donald Trump and they were election interfering, by covering for Biden.
Potentially election interfering.
I know.
YouTube still nail us for that one.
Yes, potentially. All right. But like, and it's still mind-blowing because I don't know if you noticed, like my Twitter feed lately is all Jersey Joe, all Defiant, whatever, all those 2 brothers. I've never even seen them before. I reached out to Skaggs.
Twins or
no, something with a K. I reached out to Skaggs. I'm like, who's these guys? Yeah,
honestly, it's to the point. Skaggs and we're gonna probably nuke the 2 Do Men fucking Twitter page because I get nothing but my Twitter feed. I even have a hard time finding like tweets of substance to put for tweets of the week because it's just such low hanging JoJo and Defiant Dads fruit that like and the best is watching them with such smug.
Smug,
just
smug.
They're 100% certain Trump's gone this time.
Oh, I know. Well, this other guy is Ed. I don't even know how you say Krasenstein.
No idea.
They're 2 brothers, and
I've probably seen them.
Yeah, Skaggs knew who they were, and he's like, dude, they've been like on video saying they're paid operatives, etc., so on and so forth, right? But like they come out and they're like, oh, like perfect example. I'll read one right now, just because it's in front of me and we're speaking about it. The attacks on the Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg are getting from Republicans is a disgrace. No one other than the grand jury and the prosecutor's office have seen all the evidence. No one besides them have heard from all the witnesses under oath. Anyone who is jumping to any conclusion on what the charges are or what the evidence are relying on is being irresponsible. I'm convinced that Trump will not get indicted unless there is overwhelming evidence of a felony. This means that every major allegation that Cohen makes will be corroborated by other evidence or witness testimonies. Bragg wouldn't indict unless he was almost certain he could convict. Like, are you a fucking, are that's special. You're fucking special, buddy. Yeah. You're special.
They've been grasping at straws.
No, this is the same thing that they did with COVID. Move the fucking goalposts. Move the goalposts. Move the goalposts. Oh, yeah, I would be sure. Oh, yeah, Cohen. Your star witness is in jail for perjury. and that's your star witness. He
Yep.
is in jail for perjury, right? And that's the guy you're going to use. Like literally, that's what I'm saying. Even in the leftist of leftist districts of New York, the ethics committees are like, you can't use this guy. It is unethical.
That's why
It
the
is
grand jury is
unethical.
pushing back. You know what they see on the backside is completely different than what Twitter believes is going on.
Plus, it's also another lie saying like, oh, the grand jury's seen all the evidence. They just said yesterday that the grand jury didn't see all the evidence. So how can you put that tweet? Literally, the Cohen's lawyer came in and was like, "These are the 6 documents you're looking at. I sent over 600," and the jury was like, "Oh, we didn't know that." And then all of a sudden, the AG is like, yeah, we got it. We just showed you like you're just lying right there too. You're
kind of just like they did with January 6th. You know, cherry pick a few videos and
the exact
throw out
same
40,000 hours of videos. Yeah. Well, you know, for people like me and you specifically, and for whoever me and you attract to this type of show, I always
gangsters.
Yeah. Big energy, dragon energy,
big titty energy.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave the women out, man. The conservative women are savages, man.
Yes,
we love it.
Yes,
we
they
love
are.
it.
I always relate it to like, so anytime I used to talk about Q, something was always going to happen tomorrow. And now, and this is I was saying this on the Two New Men show. This is like the left wing's version of Q. We're going to arrest Trump tomorrow.
Didn't they have a name for it?
I think it's Blue Anon.
Blue Anon. Yes.
Yeah, where they just believe he's going to get arrested. I mean, he stole from a dollar store. He will be indicted tomorrow. We got him, people. We got him. The best thing to come out about all this, though, other than, you know, Trump's going to end up being proven innocent and everybody's going to have egg on their face, is I feel, and I want to get your perspective on this, because Skaggs feels like, and I agree with him, that Soros is a lightning rod name, and a lot of people know who Soros is.
Now they do, yep.
I am happy to see Trump is out there saying this is a Soros-funded DA. I'm happy to see DeSantis, even though DeSantis took a stupid shot at Trump, and instead of standing up for this against this two-tier justice system, talking about Soros. So maybe now, like some people, you know, Skaggs said, I don't think there's a big roster that says who is exactly Soros funded, but like at least people might be able to wake up and be like, this guy's bad, or like he's at least not an American political figure, more of an American political saboteur, and be like, this guy might be a little shady. Why is he funding all these DAs in these crime-ridden areas? And how come they're, you know, because as left as you want to be, if you live in one of these crime-ridden areas, you don't want to be attacked with a baseball bat, whether the president's Republican or Democrat, but you have these politically charged DAs who are like, oh, that's just a misdemeanor now. Your assailant's going to get out within 24 hours and no bail.
Yep. So, all right, I have an interesting take on this. So I think this is setting a precedent, and they're using Trump to set this precedent so possibly they can go after other people.
Other people like
Bill
Clinton and Bill Gates.
So, and just hear me out. I mean, this is totally my opinion. YouTube, got it.
Some conspiracies.
Right. Yep. So remember when they were fighting so hard to release Trump's tax returns.
Yeah.
Okay. They got him. We got him. Big nothing burger, right?
Yep. But I actually forgot about that. That's funny.
Exactly. So, but what happened within a couple weeks after that? Now, all of a sudden, Congress has the bank records of Hunter Biden. They set a precedent. You can go into the bank records. You want to go into the tax returns. You want to go into all this other stuff. Boom, we're in there. Yes. Then they went after Trump for classified documents. Oh, we're going to get him. 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 Boom, nothing burger, right? Then what happened?
Biden got caught with classified documents.
Biden got caught with more than Trump classified documents all over different spots.
So and Biden was never president before this.
He was the VP. So they're setting a precedent. So now what are we seeing? We're seeing them trying to arrest Trump on fucking bullshit charges that we know they're
Hush
done.
money.
And they're talking about hush money. They're talking about all this other stuff. What usually follows after Trump happens? Something with Biden happens.
Yeah. Gets
So they're
caught.
trying to play, but they're trying to play defense.
Mhm.
But they're also laying the groundwork of literally, we say it all the time, a giant RICO scheme. So
Yep.
they're using Trump as the precedent. Biden's doing the same thing, but they actually have the fucking evidence. They move Trump over, get all the eyeballs on this type of case, this type of thing. They move Biden over. Whoa, it's a similar case, but we have all the evidence. Now
Mhm.
we're going to arrest Trump. Wait, hold on. This is a similar case, but we have all the evidence to back it up. So I think, in a way, just in my optimism, because I don't want the world to implode, right?
Yeah.
Is they're setting precedent and they're using him as the lightning rod, and he's laying on the sword over and over again to be able to elevate the corruption underneath him. So eventually, once the levee breaks, you're going to see they
Yep.
can go after these motherfuckers.
To piggyback off your idea, or your conspiracy or your opinion, whatever YouTube will allow us to call it. I was thinking something similar. You're seeing all this bad news happen now, right? And we're not that far off from campaign season starting. I guess 2024 campaign season will probably kick off summertime, end of summer, and go all throughout next year, the fall, winter, and the rest of next year. Caught up on wires over here. And the gears of justice turn very slowly, especially when it has to deal with politics, and especially when it has to do with the government that you are trying to protect, that you're literally creating a two-tiered justice system to protect.
Well, you're also going after the people that are in charge of this system.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can make it move as slow as you want. Oh, this paper got moved to this paper got moved to this. My intern replaced it. We need to refile it.
The PDF file was
corrupt.
corrupt. Yeah.
There wasn't a comma on it. You said LLC instead of LLB. Like, like that bullshit.
Yeah. And I think that right now we're seeing it just all pile up. We're going to get into the COVID files. Yep. We know Fauci is guilty. We know there's gain of function research taking place in the Wuhan lab. We know the vaccine doesn't do what it said what they said it was going to do.
It's called what it is, gene therapy.
Yeah, we see all these things that they're trying to nail Trump on, but Biden's guilty of. And I mean, I'll exclude Obama, but you really mean to tell me in Joe Biden's 60 years of politics, he never paid any hush money? And we're not paying attention to statute of limitations anymore. You mean to tell me good old cocaine George Bush never paid any hush money? And of all people, Bill fucking Clinton never paid no hush money. And that's just since I realized what the president was. You know what I mean? Like, you're a little bit older than me, so you remember Bush Senior's administration. I'm sure you could say the same thing about him, and so on. And so, if you really think Trump's the first president to pay any type of fucking hush money, out of your goddamn mind.
But the other thing is, even paying the hush money, like, it's showing he didn't pay the hush money.
Yes,
Cohen did.
True.
So it showed. Listen, if he was on fucking Epstein's island, he would have already been gone. But that's still gone. Nobody's coming out about that.
Skaggs always says if he was on Epstein Island, they protect him because they're all in that one together. If Trump was to go down for Epstein Island, then Clinton and all, it'd be pretty hard to just arrest one person. But what I was saying before, all this shit is mounting up. All these things, all these narratives are unraveling. All these, we're seeing all the guilt on this administration mounting up. And I think it's all going to break and come to light, and trials will start, or hearings will start, and investigations will have already started, and investigations will be concluding just in time for like your hardcore campaign season, and Trump will just have unlimited ammo to be like, look, I was, they went after my taxes. I'm innocent. Joe Biden's not in. How are you going to run a campaign when your guy's guilty of everything? How are you going to get another person to run a campaign when that guy's, Gavin Newsom? You don't think he ever paid any hush money?
I got two answers for you.
I think it's going to all come out during election season.
I got a few answers for you. 2020, same thing happened. They just hit him in the basement.
Yeah.
Okay. Arizona governor race, same thing happened. They just hit her in the basement. Cartel Katie.
Mm-hmm.
They literally are showing you, no matter what you have on us, no matter, we get our way.
Right.
We get our way. So that's.
But I mean, but now if there's indictments or hearings, it's going to be.
Scott, Cap, I appreciate your optimism and you're not and being naive, but like, look, dude, this is what's happening for the past 4 years. We saw it in the Jersey governor election. Oh, we just waited 10 more days and you were up and now I'm here. And now Murphy just passed a bill. Oh, we can count votes up to 10 days after.
Yeah.
Okay, we saw it in the Georgia Senate race. Boom, all of a sudden Warnock's down. Bang, all of a sudden Herschel Walker. What happened with Herschel Walker and all that crazy shit? Gone.
Yep.
Oh, yep. Okay, Newsom was fucking recalled and then won the election by more votes than he won his original election for.
Yeah, that's truthful.
Bubba, what are we talking about?
I know.
We are
get away with,
We need to hit the button, not for the Great Reset, but for the 1776 reset, bro. Like, I had this. It's so funny you're saying this because I literally just had this conversation with my barber, and he's conservative, but he's very, very middle of the road, right?
Fair.
So it's been like 2 years of us talking. I sit down in his chair today, and he's caught me up, whatever, and he's like, "Gary, I gotta tell you something." I said, "What's up, buddy?"
You've been right all along.
he looks at me and goes, "I believe everything you've told me for the past 2 years now." He's like, "You're fucking right. You are right. And I'm seeing it every day. You are right. Like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do?" And I'm like, "I'm not the fucking leader. Like, I'm not. Like, I'm just making sure that you know what's going on and you know what's going on. And you know what's going on." So eventually somebody with some clout or something can, and that's the other thing. Like, we do have to, and me and Skaggs were talking about this. It can't come from the top down. It's got to come
from the bottom up.
And it's very hard because regular, everyday people, especially middle class people, they have this middle life. I mean, we're getting squeezed on both sides.
Yeah, but we've been getting squeezed on both sides for decades.
For a very long time, but it is an accelerated process right now, right? But these are the people that have something to lose. These are the people that have children. These are the people that have enough money to enjoy life, but not enough money to really enjoy life. These are
not to be part of the real world.
These are the people that still have to grind to put food on the table. These are the people that still, but at the same time, they squeeze us because we're the most dangerous, because we're educated enough to start our own businesses, funded well enough to have our own money and our own ammo and our own everything else, smart enough to conjugate and talk about ideas. We're the most dangerous part, right? So, I mean, it's coming to a point where it's just so astronomically like lopsided, and people are seeing this, and, Twitter's not real world. You talk to regular everyday people, you still have some people that are totally fucking oblivious to the situation. And that's chosen. That's chosen to ignore. It's chosen not to step into reality because, like I said, and we've talked about this on the other episode, they would be so mentally broken that they know they couldn't deal with it. So it's like cognitive disconnect or whatever they call it. Like,
I always ask myself, was it worth looking behind the curtain? Yes, it was. But the pain and mental gymnastics that I've put myself through in the past several years, it's been rough. And there's no going back.
No, once the light switch goes on, you can't turn it off. And once you know
the
playbook, you're seeing the plays happen.
It's almost like something can happen and I could be like, "That's wrong," and everybody, "You're crazy," and I'd be like, "See, CNN just said I'm crazy. I know I'm fucking right.
Definitely right."
You know what I mean? Give me 6 months to 6 weeks to 6 hours, and I'll probably prove you're right.
I think it's just one of those things where, like, you know, it's a gift and a curse. It's a burden and a cross that some of us choose to bear. You know, but it's one of those things too. Like, I'd rather be awake than asleep at the wheel, because when shit does hit the fan,
Yeah. Yeah.
not that I told you so, I'm ready, motherfuckers.
Yeah. Yeah. When you see me running and you're, oh, what is he doing? You should have listened.
You should be right behind me.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Get to the
What?
chopper.
you know, you need, you know, I always, there was an old show, you probably seen it, Doomsday Preppers.
Yep.
Okay. So me and my buddy from college and high school, longtime friend, Mike, different Mike, used to love that show. We used to religiously watch it. And some of these guys were true nuts, like,
But where are they?
like, yeah. So like, but this was like a show that was on in like 2009.
Yep.
Right. So so they had like the financial collapse, and they were like, well, if it got any worse, we could just live. And I still remember this one guy. He had an outpost in the middle of Alaska, and he was taking his boat down these rivers, and he would blow up a tree so the tree would fall on the river so nobody else could take that. And like, he was like a real fucking like nut job. But then like COVID hit, and like there was no toilet paper, and everybody's in the streets crying in masks and shit. And I'm thinking of this guy in the middle of Alaska just dancing, because like all these people who were prepared and had bug out locations, start World War III, they're probably there right now, standing on their front porch, butt naked in the middle of the woods, drinking a nice hot cup of coffee, not giving a fuck. Not giving a fuck.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they were prepared, and you know, I know it sounds, and like we all say, it sounds ludicrous, but like, they understood.
This could all be taken away.
They understood that they needed minimal to live, but they knew what they needed to live, and they knew they didn't want to be a cog in the system.
Yep.
And they knew that long time ago. And maybe they had their epiphany when they were growing up, and they just said, listen, man, you know, because there's some people that like community, there's some people that like solitude. There's benefits to both. I think you should get a little bit of both in your life, like balance, like everything else. Like, I think you need good community, strong community, survive, do certain things, but also just for, you know, happiness and love and laughter and everything else, right?
Quotes from
But
the
then
Kung Fu Master Samurai.
yeah, you know, yes. So there is that side of me too, guys. I'm just not complete war machine. But then the solitude is also just to be able to get in line with your thoughts and really think and self-reflect and see where you're headed in this giant, you know, spinning disc or globe or whatever you want to call it. And you know, I mean, it's a point that everybody's gonna have like that come to Jesus moment, and you're either gonna go, or you're gonna go,
And some people are going to have it way too late, when there's no food on the shelves,
But
when they're
that's
knocking
that's
at your
them.
door,
Listen, all of us will still have that problem.
Yeah.
Even as prepared as we are, we're still going to have the problem with the food. We're still going to
Yeah.
have the problem with this, because we live in society, right? We don't live like on a self-sustainable land.
Yeah.
And even at
homestead.
that point, if you have all that, what's to say a horde of people from the city just come?
Yeah. That's, yeah. Then it
kill
gets
'em
taken
all.
away. Yeah. Then it gets taken away. Yeah.
Yeah, so you built this for somebody else to come over and destroy.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know?
the best bet is a bunker situation that you have supplies in,
Who
but
the fuck
you know,
wants to live in a rat hole?
I know. I always thought that too. Like, I think there was a movie.
There's also
Early
a difference between
90s.
living and surviving too,
Yeah.
man, and living and existing. And it's gonna come to a point where some people are like,
Yeah.
why do I want to exist like this? This is not the world I want.
Not
my
worth
kids to
living.
grow
Yeah.
in.
Living
It's
in
not, and you're gonna
a
have a
shipping
lot of that
container
too.
underground. Yeah.
You're gonna have a lot of that too. Like, oh, my existence now is to live in this little shipping container and
Yeah.
crawl out at nighttime and go forage and then crawl back in and sit there with me and my
Yeah.
fucking 3 kids and my wife all
Oh,
day,
God.
and you know, breathing
Could
the
you
same
imagine
farts in all
putting-
day.
Could you imagine putting you, your wife, your kids in, what's a shipping container, like 20 by 100 or something like that?
It's basically an RV though.
Yeah, but still, like, an RV, like you get fresh air. This is like 6 feet underground.
Dude, I know. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it comes to that point where it's like, okay, like, I mean, I know this can sound ruthless or whatever, but it's like, all right, who wants to survive? Who doesn't?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not going to be, it's not for the faint of heart. That's for sure.
Oh,
But,
ask
but-
anybody in any of these countries that are dealing with this shit, like Afghanistan and Iraq and Syria.
They got
and
no
Yemen,
choice. They got to do that
and-
every day.
Yeah, and they're forced into those positions. That's why
Yeah.
I really feel for those people, because like we said, at the end of the day, it's like we don't have the people of the world don't have problems with other people of the world for the most part. You're gonna have your bigots, you're gonna have your racists, you're gonna have this, you're gonna have that. It's just fucking it's human nature. Right?
Human nature picks that out. I always
Dude,
sorry
I
to
say it all
interrupt
the
you.
time. You can be as
Yeah.
woke as you want. You go to fucking jail. What do? Click the
Yeah.
fuck up.
Yeah, of course you do. Even
It's
if
just
there's-
tribalism.
even if you break it down to something more innocent, a fifth grade class, if there is no class clown, some kid will realize I could be the class clown and then
Yeah.
become the class clown. Just like, I had a real good analogy for it, shit, and I forgot. Yeah, but if we got rid of every racist in the world, well, not like got rid of, but if we ended racism, there would still be this one gigantic idiot that gets to live and breathe and be racist just for the sake of being racist because no one else is. Nature will just create it. You know what I mean?
Fill that void.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll
It's
fill that
sick.
void.
It's sick to think that like that void needs to be filled, but that's just you could do it with anything. We could talk about a class clown and that void will be filled. Coming from two class clowns,
Yeah,
that void will be
very much.
filled.
Yep, very much, man. And I think I don't know, man. I really think that, you can't fix every problem too. We have to fix the moral problems first. And I feel like if we align our morality back to something that's actually somewhat, acceptable and normal, a lot of these problems just go away.
Yeah. I read something yesterday that people don't divide themselves by race, religion, sex. Fools divide themselves, and normal people don't divide themselves. Fools divide themselves, and fools divide themselves by race, religion, sex, and color. And it's literally just a bunch of fools dividing us by that. And if you look at the Biden administration, it's a circus. Who's trans, who's gay, who's black and gay, but who's really qualified for any of the jobs that they're in?
None of them.
Because you are dividing us by sex, race,
It's
religion.
diversity.
Yeah.
No, I'm a
And
firm
I'm not saying everybody needs to be a white man. I always said
No.
I don't care when Nancy Pelosi was fucking Speaker of the House. I don't care that the Speaker of the House is a woman. I care that the Speaker of the House is an 85-year-old fucking alcoholic who's
Traitor.
done nothing for this country.
thief.
Yeah.
She's a traitor. She's the thief. That's not the problem. Like I'm a firm believer, especially being a small business owner, right person for the job. I don't care what you are, what race, what religion. If
Can
you're
you
the best
help me?
person, can you produce? Can you do this? Can you get the criteria of the job completed? I don't care, because I will take the lesbian black lady that knows how to do the job over
Yeah.
the white guy.
Yeah.
I don't
the white
care.
privileged. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Mr. 80s, slick back hair, red Corvette. Yeah.
dude, but like people like, oh no, like dude, that's the other problem. I think that's one of the things that jujitsu's definitely done for me. Like training jujitsu is like training in the United Nations all day.
Yeah. 'Cause you're
I
all
train
together.
with-
Yeah.
I train with people from all different walks of life,
Mhm.
race, creed, color, etc. I train with people that have all different political views. I train with people that all have different religions. I train with people of all different sexual orientations. I don't give a shit. We're all trying to simulate murder yoga on each other, and we laugh and we talk and we get that out, and then we can have conversations, hard conversations. We don't always agree, but we can have those hard conversations. We call them mat chats at the end. That's some of the best training at the end. You're exhausted. We just did 2 hours of trying to choke each other, whatever. And then we start talking and having civil discourse. But it's like, hey, man, I'll see you on Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Be
And if-
good.
and if you
All right,
think of it,
like
if you think of it in the world of martial arts, one of the best things that help, I used to do martial arts in my early 20s. So now we're talking a decade ago. And I did karate when I was younger and stuff. And martial arts gives you this mindset, a discipline, a peace, a balance, and just you get out your general aggression. It's hard.
You can look at things more levelly.
It's hard to like still be angry and like argue with someone when they just slammed you on the mat 5 minutes ago and threw you over their shoulder and fucking ended you. You still want to, I'll flip you again if you want to keep arguing with me. But like you got it out of your system, and now you could, because you think of who's like starting a lot of the problems, like these
people who can't fucking fight,
these basement dwelling Twitter
people who can't defend themselves.
Just they forget like doing a 2-hour class of jujitsu. They can't do a walk around 2 blocks, because their motorized scooters still, their electric scooters still being charged up from the Walmart. The fat people.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
These are the people who 9 times out of 10 are sitting on Twitter creating this type of discourse, buying into this decay of culture.
Well, I know this is going to sound rough, but I said, this is natural selection, and we have allowed people that would have been naturally selected to continue to live.
Yes, we gave them trophies.
That's why we have the weakness.
Yeah, we gave them trophies.
People that wouldn't have survived on their own from birth, like they were allowed to survive and continue to procreate and live in this society. And we're supposed to take care of the sick. We're supposed to take care of the weak. There is to an extent, but it's become such a bastardized point of view of what we should be taking care of and what we shouldn't be. And it's like we're giving money to certain things that you're like, what the
gender studies in Pakistani
exactly, like shit like that. Like I didn't sign up for that.
Yep.
Did you?
Nope.
I didn't sign up for that.
I think I should be getting a tax refund this year for that.
Mine's coming back from all the stuff we gave to Ukraine. I think. Writing off Zelensky as a dependent, right?
Yeah. I don't. You know what? Just give me like a Humvee, an M4, and.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say a Hummer. I was like, yo, you're cheap, bro.
Good old knob job.
I just need a roadhead and.
Let me fly around in one of those F-18s for a weekend, and we're even. We're even. No. I want a fully stocked arsenal for my tax returns. I had said this in previous podcasts, and I had this conversation before podcasts started. The hippies took over in the 70s. There was a shit ton of money to be made in the 80s, which really, I've worked with older people who are direct.
Dude, I just had this conversation with my barber, like literally
direct results of children of the 80s. And like, it was normal for a lot of privileged people to, daddy had a Porsche. We went to Jamaica every summer. We yachted around the Caribbean because that's how much money was available in the 80s. This huge influx of money came, made everything way easier. Then the 90s was the height of civilization. It was the easiest time to be alive. You had just enough technology, not enough internet. We were still, obviously the government was still fucking us over, but it wasn't this accelerated color war that they have going on. And this is the result of it. And then the people who are the result of all this money in the 80s raised children in the 90s, which was such an easy time. And that's when as a child, I knew political correctness was going to turn into a nightmare. I remember the first time I maybe called somebody a retard or something. I don't know what I did exactly, but somebody was like, that's not politically correct. And I was like, and that's even how it started. Kid, even as a kid, I was like, now I don't think I was calling someone a retard, but I was like, call a spade a spade. Like it ain't an ace of spades is not an 8 of clubs. It's just, it's not. I'm sorry. And even from a young child, I've had that perspective. This is a dog, this is a man, this is a cat, this is a woman, and
reality?
Yeah. Yes. I
make believe. You like comics and you like that stuff.
Yeah. I love it.
and you like
Love
that
it.
alternate universe, and
Yeah.
you love all that stuff.
Yeah.
And even you being that much where you're like, man, imagine Superman was real.
Yeah.
Oh, Batman.
I could be
blah, blah.
Captain America.
I
Oh
could be
my
Cap-
god. Yeah.
I mean, your name's fucking Cap, bro.
Yeah.
Like, come on. So
That's where it started. My nickname from Captain America, Captain, started with my love of Captain America. I
and
mean,
this is what I'm saying. So you were able to I can't ever say that word. Compartmentalize. There we go. It's tough. It's a tough one for me. But you were able to do that and still be like, oh, but this is reality.
Yeah. That
This is
dog
reality.
walking down the street is
At
still
a
a
young
dog.
age. At
Yeah.
a young age.
Yes.
So it's funny. I had the same exact conversation with my barber today as well. Was like, he was like, oh, you know, the younger generation is screwing up. I go, whoa, 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 whoa. I said, your generation screwed up. And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, I said, your generation, my parents' generation, they
Yep.
really screwed the fucking pooch. Why? None of them went to board ed meetings because they were too busy working. Our grandparents were the last great generation. So in their head, they fought the war, they fought all this stuff, but they were getting propaganda too. They
Mhm.
didn't even realize it, but
They
they
didn't they never imagined that America would propagandize them.
no, they couldn't. They couldn't even fathom it. So they kind of brought us into that easy time, right? They brought us into that easy time. And then there was the 60s and 70s where it was commie, weed, free drugs, free sex, free this, free that, all that other stuff, right? Then we had then we go from there to the cocaine 80s. Everybody had money, tons of
Everybody
money.
had in the 80s, you would be able to get out of college at 20, go down to Wall Street, and by 22 be making 500 grand a year in 1980, whatever. That's
Exactly.
insane.
So we had the cocaine 80s, right? So then those people weren't going to the meetings and weren't going to all these things and the gender rights studies and all that other stuff. And then they were putting the professors in and everything else. Like, this has been done over 50 years. So you can't blame the kids that are the products. And then I said, at the end of the day, those people that are complaining about this younger group, you're the ones who raised them.
Yeah.
You made it.
Yep. And
You
it's the
made
same
that
group. It's
product.
the same group of people who are bringing kids to to drag shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same, because no 5-year-old. I mean, I'm sure there's a 5-year-old out there who heard about a drag show and wants to go. But like at the end of the day, like they're not calling an Uber, they're not getting in daddy's Tesla.
Mhm.
Their parents, that generation that you're talking about, is actively taking these kids to these drag shows.
Oh, 1,000%. And
Yeah.
like that's normal.
Yeah. It's weird to see how just it shifts back and forth between generations and shit, you know?
Well, I mean, this is 40 years of weak men.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is weak men, weak times.
Yeah.
40 years. Even though we had all these wars and we had manly men and womenly
It
women
didn't-
going
it
and
was-
fighting, but like it's just
It was disconnected because when you look at World War II, American pride was at such a high that like you would lie on your application to go to war earlier to fight for your country. And even me as a proud patriot, and I guess it's from my upbringing, my father was drafted into Vietnam, and I had a different view of war growing up from an actual, somebody who went there against his will, and fought a war for the government. But like back then, you would have these young kids lie to get into to go fight for World War II. Now you fast forward after 9/11 and we have Operation Iraqi Freedom. It is so disconnected. You had your group of people that were rah, 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 yay, America. But World War II, when the men went, women had to go work in the factories. Now, we're over there in Iraq, we're over there in Afghanistan. Business as usual took place in America. This wasn't a war this war was so, lightly to say, unimportant that like life didn't stop here in America.
no,
Yeah.
it was theater.
Yeah.
It was like
It
an NFL
was
game.
a police
They
action.
broadcast
Yeah.
it. They put it up. Remember when the Gulf War, they were bombing,
Yeah.
Baghdad, and it was like, oh, shock and awe, they called it, and this and that. And they were putting it up and they were grandstanding, and it was the same thing as the fucking Coliseum.
Yeah,
Now
they
that I'm
turned
old
war
enough
into a
to
show.
understand it,
Yeah.
right? when I was younger, I was like, oh, because we had friends and family members that were over there and fighting and this and that. We're like, oh my God, we're protecting. This is, and then like now as you get older and you see why we went in and you see what we did and you're able to read the documents and you're able to do your own research and you're able to do all that stuff. I get pissed for my friends and family members that have lost their legs and lost their arms and all this for somebody else's bullshit agenda to make themselves wealthy, somebody else's bullshit agenda to make themselves, in a better position of power. Like it just comes to the point where, you have to question everything and you have to be able to make that really not skewed, but that really like laser focused. Okay, this is what they're showing me over here. What are the reasons why? Like me and Skaggs, he was on my One Monday episode 2 episodes ago, and we literally just reversed the whole situation of Ukraine and put it as, okay, we're Ukraine, right? Russia's putting missiles on this border. Russia's putting biological weapons on this border. They told us that there would be no other NATO nations past fucking Brazil. Now they're in Tijuana. Like, like we went and played the devil's advocate of it. And then when you have that perspective, you're like, oh, this is why they're pissed.
Hold on a minute. Let's pause this real quick. All right, guys, we're back. Sorry for a brief little technical difficulty. Life finds a way, as we like to say. So,
100%.
But time has kind of run out. I have a meeting to run to, and Garrett's got to get to work, right, buddy?
Yes, sir.
So, guys, thank you for this listening to this bonus segment. As always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Check us out at the Two Do Men podcast. Garrett.
Check us out at Sergeant and Samurai podcast, Rumble, etc. Follow, like, we appreciate it, and just keep on keeping on and keep digging, man.
Yes, sir. Sorry to be cutting this episode short, everyone. But Garrett and I will be back next week. Don't you worry about that, with another bonus segment of Sergeant and Captain. Jesus Christ!
Come on, that up. Captain Samurai.
One more time with another episode of Captain Samurai. God damn it. Dude, it's fucking A. Peace out, everyone.
Later, guys.